This week on Hermitcraft, we finally got the win conditions for the war, making everything we did up till this point entirely pointless. Welcome to the Hermitcraft recap. My name is Pixel Riffs, our writer is ZloyXP, and we've been accused of spoiling things lately, ignoring for a moment that the word recap is literally in the name, and also, really, Mumbo's quadruple agency is not something he hasn't spoiled way before us. We still admit that with the abundance of traps and secret tactics, it would be reasonable to issue a disclaimer. So here we go. If you're a Hermitcraft and are watching this, don't. And now that the parents are out of the room, let's take a look at all the events and mishaps that occurred on the Hermitcraft server this week.
Yeah, I kind of want them to be scared of testing all the cakes.
Starting with the new hotness that is the Civil War's planned final showdown. Fairly tired of taking pot shots at each other to no actual result, the sides once again came together to have a bit of a chat.
Anyway,
Whose cat is this? And why did it magically appear here?
mine, leave it alone or I'll hurt you.
Together they established a set of rules and conditions for the winning and losing of wars. Each team gets 3 flags to their name that they are free to place anywhere in their base, the gentleman's rule implying that the location has to remain accessible. The first team to steal all 3 of the opposing team's flags is the winner. The catch, however, is that each team also gets a death limit of 15 shared among the members. If, while trying to infiltrate the enemy's base, someone dies to traps or PvP alike, 1 head is removed from the team's scoreboard. If a team runs out of lives, they lose, no matter how many flags they manage to snag in the process.
From this point on, you are free to go and grab each other's flags.
Okay, I got one of them.
No, okay, wait. Give it back, please. Please.
No.
And just to clarify, only the deaths during an infiltration count, so nobody's score is affected when, say, Grian inevitably smashes himself against a wall using an elytra. Of course, this new mechanic is instantly hijacked by the convex, ever interested in raising their profits. First, Cub and Scar approximately copy the flag designs of both teams and hide their bootlegs on opposing sides. And to encourage attack and investigation, they provide helpful maps to these fake banners at the doorstep of either base. This, however, doesn't score them any money directly, and they opt for another business opportunity, a betting war, to complement the real one. In the little miniature park set up by Scar and Cub, each team can now bet diamonds on their own victory. The team that bets more and wins will get their bet doubled. But in the case of both teams betting the exact same amount, or the team that bet more losing, all profits will go to Concorp directly and no payout will be made. Frankly, there even being a chance of Cub and Scar being in the minus there is seriously out of character.
Oh look! Itty bitty baby bases! There we go. Star team, best team. Yes!
And speaking of things out of character, through the entire week, False Symmetry is caught doing redstone. Okay, that's actually entirely in character for her, and she's proven quite knowledgeable in that respect before, but it's not like she's here to call us out. Thank you, disclaimer. Naturally, Team Star has been packing their base full of traps even before the rules were flipped on them. Now, however, there is a very real necessity to make them even more deadly, so pigmen are thrown into the mix, as well as over a dozen phantoms for Doc's future projects. And this shakes False up enough to wake the long-forgotten prank Symmetry out of her. Inspired by Stress Monster not really delivering on her treat your chick promises, she brings a pack of tamed wolves to the chicken emporium, hides the actual chickens, and then paints the collars of the dogs white to make it look like they're not tame. Generally, the idea is to make it look like a scene of a poultry side. It is, of course, also of note that in Minecraft nature, wild wolves don't attack chickens, wild cats do. But what are the chances that Stress has the Minecraft wiki memorized the way we do? Stress also has her mind occupied by other small creatures. She's been put in charge of hiding one of G-Team's banners behind a devious trap, so she designs a maze, but it's a maze for a rabbit, not a person. After they've acquired some food the rabbit likes, the invaders will need to navigate the bunny around a recreation of the G-Team's logo embedded in the floor. But as it navigates this simple corridor, various tripwires and other mechanisms will trigger, filling the room with lava and springing an evoker from the wall thanks to a quick commission from Cubfan.
I would really love for you, please, to grab me the, what's he called? The geezer in the mansion that shoots out all the Vexes, that geezer.
First, of course, she has to get the rabbit in there, which, given they're prone to dying whenever they so much as jump off a rock, might have been more difficult than the maze itself. The other 2 G-Team flags have been given to Grian and Iskall. As for Grian, we have no idea where he put his because we cover videos Friday to Friday and he uploaded his on Saturday. So there's a data security tip for you actually. Upload your stuff on the weekend so Hermitcraft Recap can't talk about it for like a week. We do know, however, that he booby-trapped one of the water bubble elevators to shoot pufferfish at whoever dares to use it. This might take care of 1 or 2 potential infiltrators, and of 1 or 2 allied team members too if they don't pay enough attention during the briefings. Iskall, on the other hand, is quite clear about where his flag was going because he built the security system for it 2 weeks ago. His nesting vaults, where 1 key from each vault opens the master door. This week, though, he decides that getting a key isn't going to be that easy, and it sets up a multi-stage trap where you have to eat your way through a cake in order to reveal a hidden chest, although there are some nasty surprises hidden in those first few slices. Iskall's crowning achievement this week, though, is a nether mob farm, put together thanks to the genius of noted Hermitcraft benefactor Nembon MC. Multiple spawning platforms and technical trickery, along with the placement of over 47,000 stone buttons, meant that Iskall can now acquire a ludicrous amount of wither skulls and other drops in a short amount of time. Spawning the wither is now so trivial that he kills 4 straight away and delivers beacons to the folks who helped him get hold of all the stone. But because this is Iskall, one of them is delivered in the form of a poop emoji with a mustache.
It's here. Sorry. Oh, that's perfect.
Speaking of unconventional builds, Joe Hills has been working his magic on the battlefield and has assembled yet another wonder of the world out of tactical nether brick. This time it's scaled back a little bit from the Parthenon, but a scale model of the mausoleum at Halicarnassus, with pillars made of lava no less, still cuts an imposing figure on the battlefield. And even after Doc M develops a whole new TNT cannon to blow it apart, Joe just merrily builds it back up again and wonders what direction is next for his chaotic pacifism.
No! Okay. That actually does look pretty cool.
Jevin, in the meantime, prevents the team's advances by continuing the trench warfare of last week. The trenches are dug further, and in one spot he even installs a Jeb door leading into a secret bunker and activated by an observer lock. Of course, the team also needs to be combat ready to man the defenses, so each member of the Big G receives a care package with maxed out iron armor, as it's the best thing allowed for this capture the flag era. Each member aside for one, that is, but more on that later. The grind at the XP farm and the brewing of celebratory drinks is a nice enough distraction to help him through a new mega build project. Residing in the middle of the sea, Jevin sets out to build a giant 4-sided fidget spinner. No joke, that's what he calls it.
The idea for the base is it's going to be a fidget spinner, let's just be honest, it looks like a fidget spinner.
The choice of materials and the colour scheme don't really help with that association, but evoke a very modern and somewhat abstract feel. It's almost as if this whole time living in the headquarters built by Grian is rubbing off on him. But no amount of trenches saved the base from the enemy coming from the river. Having found the Guardians Grian left on their roof and in their moat, Azuma, Doc M and Impulse easily relocated the murderfish to the small patch of water by the water cooler. It is still questionable how much of a threat they'll be and to whom, but they make spooky noises, and it's the thought that counts. As for the reinforcements, Azuma comes up with a cunning trap at the very bottom of the basement maze, one in a long but tempting corridor, and one with a mind trick to it, no less. As well as a lot of explosives too, mind you.
Bam, here we go. And down there you can see we have a lighting component. What's going on down there? Explosions, and they're coming towards you. And then when you turn around, you can see all sorts of explosions over here as well. That is terrifying.
But let's not let this overshadow the massive achievement that X's Guardian farm base has become. This week he builds up the centerpiece to the bizarre and curious shapes around the outline, which also turns out to be bizarre and curious. Azuma even attempts to explain how he managed to come up with something so seemingly out of his ballpark, but the only part we actually understood is that someone from his Creative Plot World server gave him the idea. Impulse SV has been back at his base trading name tags for Team Star for an as-yet unspecified purpose, but despite establishing the server's one-stop villager shop, he's not done with the traders yet, setting up his own villager hall in an unused section of his own base, and moving some clerics to the nether roof so he can trade away all the rotten flesh and gold he's getting from the zombie pigman farm. Although all the emeralds in the world won't buy back your dignity after death to intended game mechanics.
Here, let me help you out.
Oh!
Got him!
TFC is still preparing for explosions of an even greater magnitude, and there are now enough residences in his vault that he can house most of the whitelist, although some of them will have to put up with a mild amount of sanity-bending experimentation. Like the room at the end of that one corridor, which plays randomized note block sounds whenever a chicken decides to walk over a pressure plate. Although the first person this experiment affects is TFC himself, since relying on chickens to do anything is enough to drive any sane person a bit loopy. In more non-war related things, Cubfan actually expands his golf course with a whole new hole set in a a Badlands biome. That's a whole lot of terrain modification, mind you, because he still intends to keep the play area green-coloured. And that's all fine and dandy until, after a set of time lapses, the terrain decides to strike back.
Come down to this point. Oh, what the world? Oh, what the heck? Dude, what the heck just happened? Oh my god. What?
In other explosion news, Doc M gets to flex his guns at the G-Team once again. And by guns, we still mean TNT cannons. And by flex, we mean get jump scared by a creeper.
So yeah, we have a distance of roughly about 100 blocks here. Holy crap, that creeper just... oh.
But things are about to get yet more explosive because on a live stream, Doc finally got the thunderstorm he was waiting for, meaning he got to supercharge all the creepers and witchify all the villagers he'd been storing in those glass tanks. Not only can he now fire high-velocity gunpowder boys and potion turrets at the G-Team base, but all the llamas are now named and ready to be locked and loaded into the same mechanism, allowing Team Star to enter the base via the roof. Although they might regret this approach when they discover Team G's actual base is entirely underground. At least they won't waste time taking the elevator. Doc gets to demonstrate all his toys when he meets up with Rendog and catches him up on Team Star's battle plans. Ren, for his part, didn't even know the stock exchange diamonds had been stolen, so there was a lot of ground to cover. But once he's up to speed, he gets to work bridging the divide between the Star Fort and the Ghast Cannon towers. The bridge even has a nifty mechanism intended to drop pursuers into the moat, but after a few rounds of testing, it's not the most effective thing he's ever built. And finally, speaking of things that don't work as intended, we return to Mumbo Jumbo.
Wait, hang on, you want me to sit that? That's never a good sign when someone wants you to sit down.
No, in general not.
Whoa!
Goodbye.
Whoa!
Okay, Mambo. We have a problem.
After losing both copies of his mole orders, rewriting them under his own name, and giving them to the one person on Team Star who didn't know what was going on, not to mention his fixation on bananas during the raid on G-Team base, Doc M and Grian mutually decided it'd be better if Mumbo just stays on G-Team for the rest of the war. The catch is that Doc wanted to keep Mumbo's mustache on their side, so with some help from the Stashinator 9001, the mustache gets removed from its usual home and plastered on the Starbase's meeting house until the conflict is resolved.
Oh my god.
That's where it went. Nice.
Yes. A bit of Mumbo is still on the Star Team. I like it.
At least with Mumbo on their side, G-Team has one more expert redstone wrangler to help them trap their base. His first task, as assigned by Grian, is to find a way to release the silenced phantoms the team has managed to trap up near the roof. When the phantoms prove a little awkward to release, though, Mumbo sticks to what he knows best and spends some time setting up some TNT traps, which only blow him up a little bit in the process. The rest of his week is spent finally building Il Mango's zero-tick chorus fruit farm on the server, which, it turns out, is also a 0 FPS chorus fruit farm as well. Which brings us to Recap Tag, and this week we're setting our sights on false symmetry. And I swear, if a single one of you ends up in Zombie Cleo's comments section, we are ending Recap Tag right here and right now. So head over to False's latest video, which we'll link in the iCards and the description, and comment, "Welcome back, Mrs. Prank." And that's just about it for this week's recap. Our writer is ZloyXP, and my name is Pixelriffs. If you want to hear the tale of just how Zloy and his friends lost 9 Wither Skulls, check out his latest video in this week's Endscreen Theatre. Don't forget to leave a like while you're still here, and subscribe so you won't miss future recaps. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.